Yeah, so my 5 tips for good negotiating. So number 1, be confident in the product. So we know rent to rent is amazing, rent to rent 2.0 is incredible. We need to know that when we're going into negotiations. When you're going into negotiations with landlords, if you are confident in your pitch, it will show in your body language and in your demeanour, and the landlord will pick up on that even subconsciously. So always be confident in the product, know that this works, and feel as if you are doing the landlord a dissatisfaction by not getting a rent-to-rent deal across the line. So number 2, I would say you've got to know your figures before the viewing. So stick the deal on the deal calculator, have a look on Property Market Intel and AirDNA, find out the nightly rates for the area, go on Airbnb, compare it to other service accommodations in the area, so you've got a good idea of what your nightly rate's going to be in the off seasons and the peak seasons, and then you'll go into the viewing and the negotiations with a bottom figure for the lowest rent you can offer. It's great, you know where you can position yourself then, so that's fine. Number 3, on the viewing and in negotiations, shut up and listen. You know, don't go in there telling the landlord how amazing you are, you can do this, you can do that, we can offer a guaranteed rent, and don't do that. It's off-putting, it's hard selling, and landlords do not want to be sold to. On the viewing, let the landlord sell to you. Let him tell you how good the property is. Let him tell you how nice the area is. And then, you know, you can find out a lot of information from a landlord just by listening to them. They can sometimes answer a lot of your questions just if you let them talk, let them do the talking. And then you can position yourself for negotiating. So number 4, I would say be flexible with your negotiations. You know, we have certain criteria that we like to stick to, but we have to be flexible. No 2 deals are the same, no 2 landlords are the same. And to get deals across the line, we've got to give a bit and take a bit as well. So don't be afraid to be flexible. Don't be too flexible and land yourself in hot water or give yourself a bad deal. But don't be afraid to give a little bit, you know, to the landlord as well. So, you know, if it gets a deal across the line and if it still works, do it. Be flexible. And the 5th and final tip I'm going to give you for negotiating is if you counter something, always counter with value. So, for example, if the landlord says, I want £2,000 a month rent, and that's it, that's all I want, but you can only afford 1,800. You say, look, you know, the maximum we can afford per calendar month is 1,800, but we are guaranteeing your rent for 5 years. We're covering all the maintenance. You're not going to have problem tenants. You've got no voids. You know, counter with value. Offer value in your counter to anything that the landlord proposes. So yeah, they're my 5 tips for negotiating. And if you use these tips, use these little tricks in your negotiating, and you're nice and confident, you're flexible, you'll get deals over the line time and time again.